Hey. Okay, guys, it's your girl AniYa, and we're live. So thank you all, first of all, for showing much love and support to your girl on this platform, on numerous platforms. As you know, it's been just a lot going on as of late, being a mom, but also being somebody who's out and about in these Harlem streets, New York City streets, just taking care of business, but also just being there for others in our community. And this is why I take out the time to do what I do, because I want to make sure that I am balancing everything that I'm doing and I'm going through with enough love, support, morale, right? And when you're paying it forward, oftentimes people don't see that it's a lot of pressure, but that's why the pressure leads to the praise, because once there's pressure affiliated with the work that you're doing, you can't do anything but praise God, right? And I'm the type of person that wants to go out there, but I know that oftentimes my spirit gets affected. So what do? I fall back and I praise the good Lord. And because it's our time, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna play our intro song, It's Our Time, by our sister Lachi. Don't forget to support Lachi. I met the sister once a few years back, like I do often with a lot of different people, right? Oftentimes I will meet somebody or a group of people or things of that nature, and I'll just fall in love with their personality, with who they are, with all the great things that they're about. And guess what? We become friends for a lifetime or just for a season. But now, as you can see, I'm still supporting Lachi, and I am still playing her music after years, after meeting her once, because she left an impact on me. Stick around, because in just a few minutes, we are going to talk about the one and only Mr. A. BUTTA, Mr. Hollywood A, as he joins the AniYa A show. I cannot wait, people. I cannot wait. So real quick, let's get to Miss Lachi. Let's share this screen and let us have a beautiful show tonight. Here we go. We're live. Africa season.
We just want a piece of the pie, so we pack our bags and run. Said we pack our bags and run. Trying to walk on the wire, cause there's nothing we cannot overcome. Nothing we cannot overcome. Victoria lies. Victoria lies. We're gonna take our turn. We're gonna rule the world, cause it's our time. Our time. We're gonna take our turn. We're gonna rule the world, cause it's our time. Our time. They're not gonna make us alive. They must not know how we do. They sure don't know how we do. We're gonna fight to survive. They will not knock us off our room. They will not knock us off our room. Victoria lies. Victoria lies. We're gonna make that turn. We're gonna rule it. It's our time. Our time to go. We're gonna take our turn. We're gonna rule the world. It's our time. Our time. They'll see with their own eyes. It will come to no surprise. We'll climb the rock most high. It's not like these chapters to fill the pages of love, life, and laughter. I pack my bag, look ahead and see the light, and I'm ready to claim my dreams, and I'm ready to take the flight. And I get it in my heart, I feel a little fear, I'm racing towards my destiny. I gotta keep my conscience clear. The blue sky's got a starship standing on. It's my turn, and I'm ready to take the world on. We're gonna take our turn. We're gonna rule the world. Rule the world. We're gonna take our turn. We're gonna rule the world.
We're gonna rule the world. Yeah. Woo! There you have it, folks. There you have it. That is one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard. And the reason I think, again, that it's so beautiful to me is because of this sister's backstory, right? Being a fully disabled woman and being able to sing to that caliber, and being that she is somebody from a whole other country. I want to say she's from Nigeria, Africa. It just melts my heart that she's just this amazing. Well, with that being said, fam, so as you know, like I stated, I just do a whole lot every single day. As you know, your boy is right by my side most of the time. Your boy, Mr. One and Only King, right? And today, before we let in our dear brother, whom I've known for years. So let me preface this whole interview, this whole session, by saying this. I've known Mr. A Butta for over 5 years now, I want to say. And I just want to also share that I know a whole lot of celebrities and a whole lot of people in different spaces that I will be bringing on to interview, because this is the time, this is our time to get out there, to shine, but also to literally lend a voice to those sometimes that are not getting the optimum visualization, those that are out there in our communities doing the great work. And you all know him from being a part of the great one and only RUCKER basketball tournaments out in Harlem, but you also have seen him in the streets of Harlem, because he's the type of brother, really quick, I'm doing a little Afro puff, making sure I'm cute for this brother here. He is a brother for real, but you know, his followers and his friends gotta see that he is on a great platform. But like I said, you may see him throughout the streets of Harlem, you know, doing the work that he's doing, being the person that he's being, just a natural, normal person after receiving so much fame and accreditation and just love from all over the world. If you followed the RUCKER Park series, if you know anything about AND1, which he's gonna break down, he's a real street baller. Like the AND1 thing is different with the tricks, and you know, all those different guys have all of these different names and things like that. But if you know anything about the RUCKER many years ago, you'll understand when he breaks down his role, his part. And at this point, I want us to welcome in Mr. A Butta himself, Mr. Hollywood A, to the AniYa A show. And you guys will be seeing a lot more of my celebrity friends and those that are in position and power, because like I said, I know a whole lot of people, but I haven't been able to bring them all on. But here we are with one of the famous ones right now. Hey, can you hear me okay, sir?
You hear me?
I can hear you. You were in and then you just cut out. But I can hear you.
I'm good now?
Yep, but now I can't see you again. Oh, there you go.
There I go.
There you go. Hey, I was just letting the people know who you are a little bit, but a lot of people already know who you are. And it's just such a pleasure and an honor for us to finally be doing this.
I appreciate you having me on here. You already know how to stand up. It's your boy A Butta, aka Whole Lot of Gang, aka Hollywood A, aka too many names to name.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
Facts. And I'm just here because, like, honestly, from the first time we met years ago, and I was just sharing that with the people, like, it's been nothing but love, right? Because you're so respectful, you're such a down-to-earth dude, but also you really care about the community, you really care about the people of Harlem. And for me, that's everything. That's nothing but love, you know, being
That's what it's about.
person.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's what we're supposed to be doing, showing more love. We already live in such a hateful world. You know what I mean? That, you know, I'm just a pillar of love. That's what I've been taught by the word, you know what I mean, from God. You know what I mean? He was all about love beyond the limits of your prejudices. So I'm just a kid that's trying to build off of that to make me a better person. That's all.
Absolutely. So, you know, the love word is something that a lot of people don't get, and we're going to touch more on that for sure, because one of the things that I admire about you the most is when you're through the streets of Harlem, it's like you're with family, you're friends, and like people be hailing you up. I watch everybody. I am somebody, and that's why I have a platform, right? Because I watch people and I see the interaction. So we're gonna get back to that because that love piece is so beautiful. But let's talk about, how did Mr. A Butter, aka Too Many Names, start in this basketball thing? You broke it down a little bit about the street balling versus the tricks and the Harlem Globetrotters versus the Air One and all of that jazz in between. And I'll talk about why I love basketball so much later. But I am a basketball head, like a hip hop head.
I can hear it. I can hear it. Love the energy. It's all good. Love the energy.
And that's how we met, through Rucker Park Prep, because when it came across my table,
That's right.
I was like, I'm there. We'll talk about it later. But go ahead, sir. How did you become the person that we all know you to be?
I basically started playing with my local neighborhood team, St. Mark's. I switched from playing from them, but my junior high school that I went to in Harlem, I-275, had Nate Tiny Archibald, which was an NBA Hall of Famer, NBA legend from the Bronx. Long story short, but this guy was my gym teacher in junior high school on 135th Street between 7th and Lenox. So long story short, from me being inspired from junior high school, went and played with Riverside Church and Gauchos, and playing and being able to travel and get more exposure, that helped me go to Milford Academy. I graduated from Bronx Regional. But when I say basketball, through all of those years, through all of those different spaces, my name rose and rose and rose. And that kind of like started the birth of when I was ready at 17 years old to go and play at the RUCKER. So, shout out to all of those spaces, you know what I mean, that I just gave love to, because those are the things that I remember from 275, from playing with St. Mark's, from going to Riverside and Gauchos, and then those are big organizations, AAU teams, to where they help you get more exposure outside of New York City.
Yeah.
You go to Orlando. So as basketball players, if all you playing against is kids from New York, you only really know what New York guys play
right.
like. You know what
the
I mean?
Different
So
divisions, all the different sectors, all the different states.
Yeah, exactly. So that was just me growing up playing in that. And that's when I finally made my way to getting ready to play in the RUCKER. But
Yes, sir. So at 17, you always knew, or before 17, actually, you knew that this was something you were passionate about, right? And then
I'm a late bloomer. I started playing basketball at like 11, 12 years old. A lot of guys start playing ball at 8, 9, you know what I mean? But I started playing basketball at like 12, 13. I was a flag football guy in my neighborhood, you know what I mean? Harlem, they played more flag football. So I grew up playing flag football, a little baseball here and there, but I wasn't serious about it. But next thing I know, the people that was in my neighborhood that was involved in basketball and got involved with the churches to get little basketball teams, those guys started to get a hold of the neighborhood, in their eyes, gyms, and started to help these young kids like myself.
Right.
And it just went on from there. I knew that I wasn't being able to go to Orlando, Florida to play because the team St. Mark's didn't get the type of sponsorship that the Gauchos and the Riverside organization get. So even though I started in my neighborhood under St. Mark's, that's why I always have to show them love, because we all have an origin.
Right.
We come from poverty, so we got to make sure that we letting it be known where those places was that we started before we got in some other spaces that gave us some exposure to be able to go and do what we were able to do after that.
Absolutely. And during that time is when I'm presuming you met Mr. Greg Marius, and you met those guys over there, Skip to my Lou, all those cats out there doing their thing. The NBAers would come through, then you had the hip hop heads, then you had the rappers. So it was all during that time, because I feel like Mr. Marius had been doing his thing before even you showed up, before some of you guys had showed up.
Yeah, he was doing his thing in the early 90s, the late 80s. You know what I mean? First RUCKER was on 139th Street and Lenox Avenue Park. And then it started to be so big that he moved it up to 155th and 8th Avenue. So,
and for those that don't know where that is, because a lot of people that watch my platform are actually people that are out of state. That is literally like crossed over the bridge, right across from, I want to say, oh my God, it's the projects, but not the projects.
Delano,
There you
but
go.
they're called something different now.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
know what I mean?
But it's a beautiful space. But you know, you just have to know people in the area before you try to be pulling up and stuff. But the Rucker is an interesting like circumference. I love it. I love it. It's a
It's
beautiful.
the atmosphere. It's when you say the being comfortable, the atmosphere being in those spaces when it comes to basketball. There's a lot of love when it comes to
Yes.
basketball. You know, rappers, no disrespect to them, but rappers are about self, and you can't really be mad at that because that's kind of like created around that space. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And when it comes to basketball, we're taught team. We're taught to
Yes,
think
sir.
about one another. So, you know, I'm always grateful to be in the basketball spaces and just the platform that Greg Marius built
Yes, sir.
is the reason why I'm even on this show talking, because his platform at that time to have all of those celebrities, all of those sponsors, all of those people that just wanted to be in that space, you know what I mean, that he created in Harlem, it was
In
just a
Harlem.
beautiful thing. We
It's
call it the golden era. Just letting you know, AniYa, us that come from it, we call it the golden era.
I love it. I appreciate that little bit of education too, because we have to know those different, you know, segues into how all of you different brothers are still connected. Because when you look at it, a lot of you are still connected. You're out there still hooping. You're out there still chilling. And I watch all of that. And that's why I guess the golden era still has their crew. And I love what you said too, because let's break that down. A lot of times when you are taught team, when you're taught to be a part of something instead of just looking out for yourself, you're going to take care of your community. You're going to be able to watch each other's backs. And that's what I love so much about that sport in particular, basketball, because it's literally a dynamic of family. And that's where that love also comes in. And so let's go into how, and I think it's called the Polo Grounds now for sure. The Polo Grounds right now for sure. I love that
55th Avenue. Yes,
you
sir.
already know.
Ground.
You
Yeah.
already know. And a lot of celebrities come from that area. And that's what it was so beautiful why Mr. Marius, I guess, was able to create that dynamic. And for you as a young man, going from flag football, going from like, you know, playing baseball or whatever, not like having a team growing up in this dynamic. How was it for you? I want to know your experience and how was that for you? Because you guys got a lot of attention worldwide.
I think it was a blessing for me because I live on 138th and 7th Avenue, and Greg Marius happened to live on 138th between 7th and 8th. So I kind of like more grew up as a neighborhood kid that he saw and is more connected to his family than anything that I was around. So the fact that he built that platform as I was growing up as a young kid, when I was 16 years old and I went up there, I could see all the kids on the gate and how crowded it was. Even though I played basketball and I was good, I just knew I wasn't ready for that. That was a lot of attention to me, just as a young 16-year-old kid, just looking at all of these people out here like that. It would be a lot of attention and pressure on me. So I kind of like went away to school and got stronger. And when I came back when I was 17 years old, that's when I went and played in Rucker. And to me, that's kind of like, you know, when we become grown, not saying grown men, but we become in our strength as men at 17, 18 years old. So, you know, as I became grown at that age, I started to play against older guys and I was able to outperform them being that I was younger. So if Vince Carter was rookie of the year in the NBA, and I'm only 17 years old and I'm playing street ball and he plays in a game against me, if I have 45 and he has 32, the streets is gonna love that. To them, the streets won.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
it's just, you know, it was an honor even still just to play against someone like that because like I said, he worked hard to become who he was.
Absolutely.
Going to University of North Carolina and doing the things that he did there and going to the NBA and doing the things that he did there. So it was always a blessing for me to say that I just, you know, was a kid that was able to play against him and showcase my talent, that even if I didn't make it to the NBA, all the NBA players, when I did play against them in the Rucker Park, I was able to outshine them to showcase that I still was on that level, you
Yes,
know?
sir. Absolutely. And that's why your name made waves throughout the world, because people looked at you, and a lot of the team members, right, that were out there like, wow, this is a real thing. And I'll just share with you real quick why I'm the way I am with basketball. So I was a tomboy growing up. This is why I got my little fitted with my company show on.
It's all love. It's all love.
You know, because
The
I was
dad
like,
hat.
I'm
Ain't that what they
caveat.
call it? The dad hat.
There you go. You already know. Because I said I gotta represent, you know, a little bit of tomboyish tonight or what have you. So growing up, it was like that for us. Like my parents was like, you're not going out to the mall, you're not doing this, but you could play in the park, because we got a close proximity to that. You know what I'm saying? And my parents were always so active. And like my parents growing up, I never knew that parents were old. My parents were younger, but they were also so flexible, and they would be playing soccer with us. We're from the island, so they would call it football. So we playing football all day and all night, running around with my parents. And it was the craziest thing, because my father and my mother were like this. And so we would live in the park. And so street ball was something I always loved, because I'm the oldest of 6, right, Abada? And my brothers, and everybody was taller than me. But I was faster because I used to have to beat them and chase them around as the big sister. Yo, so you could understand, growing up, I'm on the course with the dudes, and it was like life for me, because at the end of the day, I'm like, I got this, I know what I'm doing. So after I would get real good or whatever and fast, and I would like, you know, shoot and just be able to pass and, you know, do my little thing, my brothers shut that down. They're like, nah, get off the court. Because now I was getting older, and as a female, now it's like a different vibe. They're not looking at me like little sis anymore. It's a different, you know what I'm saying? The mentality.
The mentality, I get you.
You get me?
I get it.
So they kicked me off the courts or whatever, but I played in high school and everything like that. But I say that to say, first of all, for any parents that's listening tonight, I want you to understand, keep your children in sports. Don't let the schools dictate what the kids can be doing. Get your kids in extracurricular activities, because that's what kept me out of trouble. That's what keeps a lot of kids out of trouble, when your children are in sports or affiliated with positive things outside of school. So I wanted to share.
Keep them active. Keep them active.
Active. And then on top of that, I would watch, you know, what was going on in the Rucker, because I was living in Florida and in New York back then. So when we would come up to New York with my cousins and stuff like that, we would stop through. But it was so, like you said, so crazy. So much going on, it was intimidating. So I would watch from afar, because I'm like, yo, this is a lot, but it was so exhilarating at the same time. But I wanted you to know that, because as people don't know that about me, and I don't share a lot of that because it feels like real goofy for me, but it's life, and I love the game, and I love street balling. And then here's a little thing I want to share with you. In college, I ended up going to a college, a private university, that brought in the NBA to play in our school, Harlem Globetrotters. I chilled with all of these guys, Palm Beach Atlantic University. I don't talk about that often. Lamar Odom was my OG. I was supposed to marry Lamar before that stupid Kardashian. And so it's like a lot for me, and I don't often talk about it, but because I got you here tonight as my special guest, I'm letting you know, because that's
what's up.
I love the game. But moving forward, how can you motivate the community? Because we live in a society too, right? Hey, brother, like you were just at the, I think you were just at the no, you were just at some park before we got on tonight. You were
Dykeman Park.
Dykeman.
Yeah.
How can you encourage or motivate the community to stay more active? Because now we got all these cell phones and these gadgets 24 hours, but I would love for you to motivate the community and let them know how you stayed motivated during that time you were playing.
Actually, this Sunday, I'm getting ready to do an event. I'm being sponsored by MoCaFi Bank. They're doing an event. They're doing an event for me at the Schomburg Library, August, 20th. From 12 to 3 p.m. And it's about me utilizing my platform, Streets First, to speak to different people. I have Chris Gotti, I have my pastor of FCBC, Michael Waldron, and I have the Queen of Harlem, Michelle, to come through. And I'm speaking to them about economic and social justice.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
speaking to people about how that I see with my own eyes, know how to make change. And like I said, we have to learn how to make change with love versus power.
Yes,
There's
sir.
a lot of people that feel like you need to tell people what to do, when really you need to just be the leader and show them. We have to be a little more compassionate. You know,
Yes,
that's what
sir.
God was all about. You know what I mean? Like, I know that we all want changes, but we all have to be the change that we want.
Yes, sir.
There was people before us that did way more, you know what I mean, to make sure that we were in this position. And sometimes it's not all on us. So don't put too much pressure on yourself when you're trying to make change. Be the
Absolutely.
change. You know what I'm
Be the
saying?
change.
So
Be the
that's what
change.
I'm about right now. I want to speak to people and do things where I know that I'm helping make change. And I partner up, like I said, with MoCaFi Bank, because it's a bank that I know is trying to help build and help empower poverty communities,
Yes,
inner cities, on how to build wealth. You know what I mean?
I love it.
We can find ourselves somehow being so having so many ideas, great ideas, and being able to be motivational and inspiring, but we really wouldn't know what to do if we made that to the next level. And to
Absolutely.
me, financial literacy matters. And that is something that I'm teaming up with MoCaFi Bank to help the next generation with understand what financial literacy is all about. Shout out to Earn Your Leisure, Rashad Bilal, and Troy Millers. Those are my guys. It's people like that that, you know, I'm connecting and cool with, that is helping people really understand, as Black people, just as people that's
Yes,
trying to do
sir.
things in their community, to learn from all of this knowledge that we're around. So I really don't knock the phones, because the next generation is, you know, no disrespect, they are on some making their own history.
Yes,
They're
sir.
not forgetting about the history that's before them, but they're making their own history. And I don't knock them, because I've learned to listen to them. And when I listen to them, they feel that the people that's older than them, they come from a slavery mindset, and
Facts.
they didn't grow up in that, and they don't want to feel entitled. They don't want to feel like someone owed them something. They feel like this phone makes them freely in a space where they can get the answer to do and be what they want. So I'm a person, like I said, when it comes to love, I don't hold mistakes or things that kids do against them.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like empower them off of their mistakes. And I think that that's what it should be about, to be able to help them. This world beats you down enough.
Yes, sir.
You get
I
what
love
I'm
that.
saying?
I
And
love
when you
that.
look at the next generation, they're right now winning in suicide. So where's the love at? Like,
Facts.
you see what I'm saying? So we have to
Facts.
be very conscious of how we're helping the next generation with power versus love. I get that we're older. I get that we have more knowledge and seen and been through more than them.
Yes,
But if
sir.
we all believe in God, He has a plan for them too. Make sure that you're playing a good role in those kids and people's life to help them. You know what I mean? Don't play that role as if you're God with power and telling people what to do. Learn how to love people beyond the limits of your prejudices, even their mistakes. Why? Because God does that for all of us, right?
Absolutely. Well, I'm coming from a standpoint, though, not to beat them down, but to get them more active, because my whole thing is, for example, you know, I told you about my love for street ball, my love for basketball, my love for activities. I have, and I can say it publicly, a nephew, my favorite nephew, the first nephew I ever had, who literally lives on his iPad. His father, my baby brother, gave him $1,000 iPad when he was like 2, because my brother had the money, and being a baller, gave this kid $1,000 iPad at 2. And I was so devastated, because my nephew from 2 to basically now is always on that thing. So whenever
Mhm.
I would fly back, because I'm a dual citizen, I call it, right, of Florida and New York, when I fly back home to Florida, the first thing I'm doing is like, little boy, let's go. We're going into the soccer field. We're going to the park. We're going to play. We're going to go swimming. We're going somewhere. And I want you to put that thing down. So it's not for me to be condemning, condemning, sorry, like
No,
condemning.
you can do all of those things
Yes,
with
sir.
them. You just not supposed to make them feel bad about
Oh, no,
the
I don't.
iPad. I
Oh,
didn't
no.
say you, but
Oh, okay,
I'm just
gotcha.
saying and
Okay.
speaking in general that's what people miss. Like,
Yes, sir.
one of the things that I've realized, and I'm just saying this publicly as us Black people,
Yes, sir.
we're very bad with communicating. We all mean good, but we're very bad with how we have communication skills. We'll
Yes,
cut people off, we'll stop talking, and all of that stuff. Like I said, all of that is connected to power.
yes, sir.
How you're trying to control people, and that's why I'm speaking the way that I'm speaking. It doesn't matter how much good you want or mean for somebody, make sure you're doing it with love.
Yes,
So
sir.
even when you speaking and saying what you're doing, all I have to do is connect it, whether it sounds like love or power. I hope that, even though you're adding these things to his life, you're still not making him feel bad about something that you have no idea that's way better for him than you are. He
Right.
has multiple ways to learn from that. You had to remember stuff when you went to school. He could push a button and ask Siri to give him the answer. So to you, you think that that's cheating only because the way you came from. So we
Right.
got to be conscious and careful of how we're teaching people based off of what we've been through. We got
Facts.
to be a little open-minded to what they're going through today. And guess what? Technology has gotten for the better. Sometimes we just use it the wrong way.
Right.
Just
Well,
like a lot of things in life.
exactly. And you're
But that's called
absolutely right.
human nature. There's nothing wrong with that. It's called
Exactly.
each one teach one. That's what it's all about.
That's exactly it. We have to be able to be open, and you're absolutely right. And I do concur because that's the generation they're in. But with me being an old head, I'm like, listen, little buddy, and he loves it.
Just stop calling yourself an old head. You know what you need to call yourself? You being an educated person
Thank
from your
you.
generation.
I love that.
I don't let people, I'm 42. I was born in 81. I heard a 17-year-old call me, I came from the slavery era.
I'm
Now
done.
I know I didn't grow up in a slavery era, but obviously my 91, 94, 95-year-old grandmother did.
Yes,
And
sir.
don't think that I didn't understand why my grandmother in 2000 something wouldn't allow a white boy on the porch that's playing with her grandchild, her great grandchild, get her water. I don't know what traumatization that my grandmother went through, the reason why she felt like, don't be giving that white boy, some white child, that water.
Mm,
And it's like, well, grandma, that's water. Are you kidding me?
right.
But that kid, that's something that I was exposed to from you see what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
I can't judge my grandmother when I'm listening to God's word about loving beyond the limits of my prejudices. Why? Because I don't know what my grandmother went through. I
Right.
don't know the people that spit on my grandmother just because of the color of her
Exactly.
skin. You get what I'm saying?
Facts. It's just different generations learning, growing, and growth is something that
That's why I'm
all
talking.
have to
We
do.
can't. That's why I'm talking the way I'm talking about. We still have to understand the next generation and what this technology can do for them. And it's up to us as leaders to make sure that we, like you're doing, give them time to do other things. And then,
Yes, sir.
as well as, make sure we let them know, I do see that you are learning and growing from this iPad that maybe, and that's what I'm saying. Sometimes we wouldn't see it if we didn't take the time out to not be so power or controlling of that.
Yes, sir.
Like, you know what I mean? And that's why I said, I know you're not one of those because why? You have other activities
Yes,
for him
sir.
to do. So you're not just a controlling person. You also are showing love. You see what I'm saying?
Mad love, and that's the bottom line. Love is the key for everything. It talks about
That's
it in
right.
1 Corinthians 13:13, because you're a man of
That's
God.
right.
And if we don't have love, it's like everything else that we're talking about makes no sense. We could have patience, we could have all the fruits of the spirit, we could have all the joy that we need in life, but that love is the key connector. So you're absolutely correct. And trust and believe, my nephew, excuse me, he knows how much his TT loves him. His Tati loves him so much. And that's why I do what I do. And that's why I do what I do for the community. And I want you to reinforce what you said, that it's happening this weekend. Is that open to the public? Because
It's
I know,
open to the public. Yes, the
please
first
say
50,
it again.
let me tell you something. The first 50 to 100 people that comes and sign up with MoCaFi Bank, they get a $300 deposited by them. I don't do no events for no play. I'm trying to
Okay.
make sure that I help. See, this is the difference, that when I utilize my community for coming out and being able to hear access to, power,
Yes,
this is
sir.
how you utilize your power. And you make sure that you fund them for that. You see
Thank
what I'm
you.
trying to say? And you know why I'm able to do that? Because that's how you're supposed to utilize banks. They want to help, but you have to put them in position. And that's the reason why I want to talk about economic and social
And
justice, because,
let's talk
you
about,
know,
oh, real quick, before we talk about the economics and social justice, is there anything else you want to talk about in regards to basketball? Because I'm still like, what else do you want to share? And then we
nah.
can get into economics. Is there any highlights, any special moments, any shout outs that you want to give before we segue into economics and social justice and activism, edutainment, all of those things that you're doing?
No, I don't have too much time left, but listen to me. With basketball, I have a lot that I'm trying to do behind the scenes to make sure that I help connect the tournament directors and just be able to
I
help
love it.
us figure out how to unify. The one thing that I don't, because I came from playing basketball, I see how the corporations are still able to have us fight against each other. And
Mm,
until we learn how to realize that when we unite, we're much stronger together. But I understand that, sometimes you don't know the next man's motive.
yes, sir.
But if we can educate each other and teach each other that it's okay to let someone else lead and put you in a better position to move on in life, I think our kind will always agree with that. And that's all I want to be able to do is help guys see that because I came from this, it's about us helping each other. And the fight is not against each other, it's against poverty.
There you go.
And we still keep allowing the corporations, sorry to say it, the white man use us to fight each other. I feel like as voters, as people that we have the power, we are the culture. So we're gonna always win. And
That's
when you
it.
see how dynamic and magical we are just as Black people, we
Exactly.
gotta realize, but that's why I said sometimes within this word that we're learning, you can't control no one else. All you can do is be the leader that you have been taught and being shown that you can be. And
Absolutely.
that's what we gotta get more, conscious of, to, like I said, to realizing that the more I show love and be the leader of that, the more power I'm gonna get. Why? Because God said you your power lies in your reaction and your response.
Yes.
That's all you're in control of, is how you react and respond. That's where your power lies. So
Absolutely.
me, I'm gonna respond and do a lot of things now, as I'm older, to grow even more with love. Why? Because the word has taught me that's his child too. Do you
Mm,
understand? Society taught me that, I should do something to protect myself because I think you're trying to harm me or hurting me.
mm,
Do you understand that word
yeah.
taught me that that's his child too? So now I have to second guess, how I react and respond. Why? Because if the God that I serve knows that there's no mistake that me and this person has encountered, see, society made us feel like we shouldn't talk to people no more, be friends with people no more, even
Mm,
if it's family. God has connected us to everybody that you met in your life, and it's up to us to make sure that it works.
yes.
So we shouldn't have enemies. Why?
Yes.
Because if you trust the word, he said, love your enemies too.
Amen. And pray for them. Come on.
Hello, yeah,
I love
we
them.
ain't good too preachy, but I'm just saying, if
Listen.
we gonna give them a word to remember, I'm just letting them know that this is what it's all about. You know what I mean?
For those that are just tuning in, you're listening to BUTTA, aka Mr. Hollywood A, Mr. Adrian Walton. You have seen him all over the media doing what he does with basketball as a street baller in Harlem, doing the Rucker Park thing under Mr. Greg Marius and all those other cats that were out there for the community. Recently, he re-linked up with Fat Joe, but you're always with Fat Joe. You're always with all the celebs. You're always with the rappers. And now you're doing even greater work, in my opinion, because you are a man who has realized the power of not just the game, not just the ball, but of humanity, of community. of love. And now you're imparting this and sharing and giving back. And I want everybody to tune into this. If you're watching now, if you're going to watch later, listen to the man's words, because this is what's going to take us to the next level. And at that, I want people to understand too, that we have to love each other more. You know, I'm working on a foster care platform, which I'll talk to you about later. And I would love to get you connected with a lot of the people that I'm working with. That's why I do what I do as well, because I'm interconnected. And we have so many young Black men that need to listen to you, that need to hear you. So however I can help you outsource and get out there, I would love to do that. You and your team, your friends, whatever. And I want you to know, with the foster care platform, we're working on saving a little Black boy as we speak, by the name of Aiden. I can't go too much deeper, but he has been abused physically, emotionally, and we just found out sexually. And I just need you to know that I'm going to be calling on you to sit with him at some point to speak those powerful words into Aiden as a mentor and as a giver of life. Because at the end of the day, I didn't realize, I've seen you through the streets, we've reconnected so many different times, but I never realized, and I might get emotional, that you're this deep. I never realized about this like other way of like thinking, because when we met initially, it was about the game. Now this is the game. This is teaching the game to the people. And I'm so profound right now. I'm like just in awe about what you're saying and how you're delivering your message to the people. Shouts out to the people that's watching all on Instagram. Thank you so much, Mr. Gregory Roberts just joined. I have Drava fam who's on. I had a bunch of people commenting. I just can't stop and
it's so good. It's so
good. But I also want
good.
to show love to one of our community leaders, Councilman Kevin C. Riley, who I want to connect you with, as well as others in the community. He's the one helping with the foster care platform. He's the only politician that cares
I
about.
want to talk to all of those people.
Thank you.
Listen, I'm very connected with a lot of NBA players that I'm teaching how to utilize their foundation.
There we go.
And
Let's
right
do
now,
that. I'm gonna connect
right
you.
now, I'm part of a project in Africa, and it's just I'm part of a project in Africa with water, because I'm part of a water company called Altitude Water that has machines that take humidity from the air and turn it into water.
And we need that in Africa. So let's go into the different things that you're working on. And I'm going to connect you with the Dad Gang, with Council Member Kevin C. Riley, with the Coach Davis that's in the community, and the Foster Care Task Force, Mr. David Hopper, all
That's
of them.
what it's about.
And real quick, happy birthday to Councilman Kevin C. Riley's sister. I guess her name is Stunning Kelly on Facebook. I just wanted to do that quick shout out while we're talking. Now, take us through the financial literacy, take us through all the different things you're doing, and now you're doing something with Africa as well. And I know you're not going to be here too much longer, but whatever time you have, share with us all those great things that you're doing.
Now, I'm basically part of a big project, water initiative with Joakim Noah. He's a former NBA player. He's part of the NBA ambassadorship with the NBA Cares. So being that I grew up and played basketball with him, he has a foundation called Noah's Ark. And basically we have machines in Cameroon, Africa. It's a water hub where people used to drink water from those dirty rivers.
Yes.
And if you do your research, a lot of people die in Africa from water.
In Haiti,
having dirty water.
there's something called
that's the reason why I started working with these public companies, because I know that public companies need public figures. And me growing up playing in Rucker, from all the public figures, Fat Joe, Cameron's my cousin, all of the different public figures that I'm so cool and connected to, what I'm trying to do is build businesses and utilize their foundations and things like that for us to be able to start building for the next generation. I just feel like a lot of my friends, in America, where it's about capitalism, it's about making money and having money. So I want to help my friends figure out how we can utilize the government and make money. And it all is a tax write-off. We don't have to allow the corporations to keep running everything when we can learn how to put ourselves in position to run stuff. And that's where financial literacy is connected things. That's why I shouted the guys out that I did earlier, because
yes, sir,
we are all learning how to connect dots to where, like I said, these corporations don't always have to run everything. But not only that, they don't always have to be the ones to leave stuff in their will to their kids. It's up to us to learn how to do that too. And we have to be able to get into the game, but it starts from places and spaces like this. We have to be able to get out here and give this information out and take the time out of time to talk and put this stuff out there. And like I said, no disrespect to the older generation. That's why I told you, we got to watch how we use the older heads. But AniYa, you know, we grew up in an environment where the game was to be sold, not to be told.
Yes.
So there's not a lot of older people that don't want to let that information go. And this is why I'm respecting the young generation. They're grabbing hands and they're pulling people through the doors with them. We didn't do that. We closed doors, and I'm not mad at them because the mindset from the white man and people before them, that's what they did to them.
That's what
I'm just saying. I don't knock Diddy, but I could never say that. Look at what the white man did to Diddy. So I can't knock what Diddy started to do to his people, but I'm glad that he's about love today. I'm glad that he's on this. You hear the name, Love? I'm glad he got a child named Love. You see what he's on? I'm just letting you know when God gets you to see that it's not really your fault, but society.
Yes, sir.
And I'm in tune. You get what I'm saying? Like some things just speak for itself. I'm not judging him or anything.
No. I want you to know.
I just wanted to use that as a good example that I know our people can relate to. You get what I'm saying?
Can I share with you?
To not read him wrong, but to understand some people have to be put in those positions, in those spaces to be used as examples for us to learn from, to be able to help. And that's why I'm speaking that even from his bad, that it turned out good. You get what I'm saying?
Facts.
And look at his child, look at his children. You never know the blessings that start to come to them because of the sacrifice that we start to make to learn how to look at where we might have went wrong. And sometimes it's not our fault. Look at the society that we grew up in. This is America. Don't forget that.
It's a corporation. Let me tell you something. The reason why you see me like this and everything is, number one, I'm like half of P. Diddy's kids. Number two, I know, you know, Kim's ex very well, right? We were in a newspaper together. You know who I'm talking about. I wanted to have him on my platform. He was just in a coma for dumb long. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, I know a lot about that whole situation, and I'm real low key about everything because Diddy don't want us to be talking. But at the end of the day, you know, and I want to preface this and say, like,
don't say you from Harlem and don't think I'm not gonna put your name out there. I'm from Harlem. I really was born out.
That part, you super connected. You already know the beat on the wavelength right quick. The bottom line is this, right? You said it from jump. Rappers are taught for self. They're like all for self. Get your money. Get this. That's what they preach
it's
about.
Making sense, right?
Right. And then so at the end of the day, it's a selfish mentality. And what people don't know is I was a hip hop lyricist myself. I was the hip hop empress in Atlanta before Cardi B and all of that. I was putting lyrics in Spanish, in French, and in Creole because those are my languages. And I did a little patois thing just to stir up the pot. But at the end of the day,
all in the culture, it's all connected.
And I couldn't stay in that game. You know why? Because it wasn't about love. I had people setting me up in my own squad. I had females trying to come after me thinking I'm doing something with them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, bro, we here for business and we here for the culture. We here for the people. But they wasn't on that type of time. And I'm not getting set up. I'm not going to jail and I'm not getting murked out for this game. Done. So I do my own thing for my community.
Continue to build your own table. And guess what? The right people will attract to your table.
And look what's happening now. And you know what you're saying? Let me tell you something. I got another meeting with another big bank after 21st, after your event. I'm going to show up and show love for that on the 20th. I'm going to invite mad people because I want all of us to get that $300. You feel me?
That's right.
Up. And then
free from the bank. Free.
I'm bringing people in your circumference to help with your platform because this is why I built this. The AniYa show, nobody gives me nothing for this. I go out and I hustle. I go out and I call people. Yo, hey, brother, didn't I hit you up? I said, listen.
That's right. That's what we do.
It's time for it. I felt it in the spirit. How long I've been telling you, every time I see you in the street, I want to interview you. I want to interview you. And then it wasn't the time until now because you had something. You had something. There you go. Godspeed right there, right? That part. That part. You had something that you had to deliver to the people. Everything is about timing. Everything is about the word of God. God makes no mistakes. And when you're about self, you know what's going to happen? You keep playing and all of that's going to be exposed. What you talking about? I got people connected to Diddy so hard. Like I'm on the phones with them. They want to come on and talk. I'm
You
like,
only
I'm
know
not
as
ready.
much as you know, but your understanding can never go as far as God. So
Amen.
that's why you should not lean on your understanding.
Can't.
I'm gonna keep speaking highly of him because, as you can see, no matter what I've been exposed to, he's shown me he's been more in my life than all of them.
And
You know
I
what I mean?
love that. I love that about you. And then wait, let's talk about your family real quick, because that's one of the things.
Yeah, I
You
got my baby. That's why I'm getting ready. I only got the 2 more minutes. This 2-year-old, you know what it's like when you have a 2-year-old.
I got one here now. I didn't even let you
She's
know.
a girl. I'm daddy. She don't play this. This is too long right now. She's
Too
going
long.
crazy.
Look, my son is like where I'm at. Like after we you had yours and then I had mine. But I wanted to talk about that. I commend you for all the love that you showed, baby girl. You're in the streets with her. You are such a beautiful father. And whatever you want to share, how people can get in contact with you. Again, the location for the 20th. And then we're gonna let baby girl take her daddy because she is not playing with me. She's like,
I'm a
hear
girl
female's
dad.
voice. She hears my voice. She said, get off the phone.
I got 3 daughters. Shout out to
Yes.
Brianna, shout out to Adriana, and shout out to Love. I named my daughter Love first too, Diddy.
Yes.
She was born March 5th, all right?
Yes, sir.
And
And she's a year older.
Her name is Love Adrian Walton. So when this daughter makes it to the league, I can hear my name finally said over the loudspeaker, all right? Adrian Walton. So I named her Love Adrian Walton. And it was also a reminder to my girlfriend, my baby mama, to love her dad, all right? Love
That's
Adrian Walton.
Y'all are a beautiful family. I love it. I've always watched you do your thing in the community. And again, where can people follow you, find you, stay in touch with you? And the 20th is going to be at the
Schaumburg Library, August 20th, 12 to 4 p.m., 135th Lenox Avenue in Harlem. I'm doing an event with MoCaFi, Malcolm X Boulevard, right across from Harlem Hospital. I'm doing an event with MoCaFi Bank, Think Watts Foundation, you know what I mean? Streets First podcast, Streets First. You already know I'm making sure that I'm talking to some people about economic and social justice, some real leaders, you know, people that I know is out there doing it and making change. You know, shout out to Chris Gotti, shout out to Queen of Harlem, shout out to my pastor, Michael Waldron of FCBC on 116th and Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard in Harlem. You know, these people are about making change within their community. And when I say change, it's not about using people for numbers. It's really about making sure that you're doing things that help people. And that's why I said sometimes it's not always about giving people money. You could give people knowledge that can help them get over some humps. And this is what I'm talking about when it comes to exposure, when it comes to, you know, knowledge. You know, this is free. And I'm grateful for the knowledge and exposure that I've been around. That's why I take the time to never judge. I'm always going on all platforms to be able to give out that knowledge. Why? Because I want my people to win. I've been around enough winning in my life to be able to give that back. That's the most that I could do for my people. Give that back.
Paying it forward. This is what the brother does. We're going to see you face to face on the 20th at the Schaumburg. That's where I'll be at anyway. And last piece, there's an exhibit up there right now. I don't know if you know about the mass incarceration already till December. I was just through there. So I'm coming
I'll
back.
check it out.
You better, that thing will have you in tears, but it's going to help us reach back to those that are incarcerated for no reason and help them out.
You know, they can find me on Instagram at ButterButterWorld3. They can find me on Twitter at ButterButterWorld. They can find me on Facebook at Adrian Walton. And you could follow my podcast, Streets First Podcast. Season 3 is getting ready to come out. I'm getting ready to start traveling to all my friends' houses and be able to show like a different perspective of interviewing, like MTV Cribs. I know people don't have the access that I have being connected to the people that I'm connected to. You can't just be a street ball player and go to DJ Khaled house. I can.
You can't do that.
I'm Terror Squad for life. You heard? No, Terror Squad. You can't go to Cameron's house and it is what it is. You get what I'm trying to say? You can't just go on the show like I can. That's family. Dipset for life. You know what I'm saying?
All that.
So You know what I mean?
Stand up, baby. Well,
It's
listen,
always
my
love.
baby girl, love Adrian Walton is saying, get off the phone with this chick. I appreciate you, baby boy, and we will be out there.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, it was so needed, so necessary for this time. Salutes to you, King.
It's
Salute.
an honor, love. You heard?
Love.
Enjoy, AniYa. Make
Thank
sure
you.
y'all follow her and keep subscribing to her.
We got work to do. Peace. All right, guys. Wow, I got goosebumps all over my body. People is hitting my line right now. Everybody, I can't talk because I am steady still on this like high real quick. Everybody, please, like everybody's calling right now. And I'm getting messages like crazy. I guess people are really seeing the work. Wow, I'm baffled. So here's the bottom line. Again, real quick, I've known this man for years, had no idea that he was so passionate about community and love, literally love the community and the people and everything. When we first met, it was for the people. You guys saw the little clip I took of him because I was so enamored by his energy from day one. And here's the bottom line. And I gotta say this again, because a lot of people, they don't get me. People be hitting me up, like people be asking me my questions, like, AniYa, you were with this guy, did you sleep with him? AniYa, you were with this guy, are you checking him? Are you sleeping with him? Are you this and all this kind of stuff. And people be like really thinking like I'm in the streets like hoeing or whatever. And people don't even get it. Like, I have brothers, I have fathers. I say fathers because every like older male role model in my life ends up being like dad or father or like a spiritual father or something, because that's how I was raised. In my culture, by the way, I'm Haitian American, and I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna shut down in about 5 to 10 minutes or whatever, because I gotta talk about this because a lot of times people don't get it. In my culture, being Haitian, like there's this thing about respect for your older people, right? Like, hold on, let me fix the little hat real quick. I'm so excited. I'm like mad hood right now because it's about street ball, all of that. And so what had happened was, growing up, right, everybody was like auntie, you know, uncle, and it was like you have to show respect to all these people when you're from the islands, and you don't even be wanting to half the time. You walk in a room and your mom be like, oh, you have to kiss everybody in the room on the cheek. Like, why? I don't even know these people, but they know you. They knew you from when you was in my belly. They know me from Haiti, and we all migrated from Haiti, you know, to America, and you have to like kiss them and, you know, be nice to them. And I was that type of young lady that I don't deal with everybody from when I was a little girl. And I gotta talk about this. I know my mother's gonna be like, she is so fresh. Growing up, I didn't know what it was called, but like, and I'm still like this today. That's why a lot of people don't see me in a lot of spaces, because it's not you, it's me. Growing up from when I was a child, I had this thing about energy. I didn't know what it was called. I didn't know it was called energy. I just knew if my blood didn't mix with you, that's what I thought it was, that I couldn't be in the same space with you. I couldn't even talk to you. I would just walk away and just be by myself, or I'd be around people that my energy mixed with. I didn't know what energy was. I didn't know what the vibrations was. I didn't know what the Bible was talking about, because I grew up Catholic. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't talk about the Bible like that, whatever. You can't even read a Bible. You got a rosary. Anyway, and so I grew up like mad confused, like, why can't I just be in certain spaces with people that I don't like? And I didn't even understand it at the time. So it took me mad years when I got into the ministry, when I got, you know, older, when I went to Bible school and started reading the Bible, and then, you know, going through some situations after, you know, certain murders happened in my life, that I understood the thing about energies. But it was deeper than that. It was a spiritual thing. It was a spiritual walk and spiritual connections, because the Bible talks about ministering angels. But the same way we could have ministering angels that we come across, there's another thing that can happen. There's certain spirits and energies that people have, and if they don't align with who we are, we cannot connect. Bringing me to my next point. When people see me with a lot of men, it's not because I'm attracted to all of them. I have my eyes on certain people, like literally, like I can't even keep my eyes off of them. Y'all don't even understand, because it's a certain attraction. I'm first of all a sapiosexual person, so it's like mental, physical, all of that stuff in combination with whatever they got going on, blah, blah, whatever. But either way, with Mr. Adrian Walton, for you guys to understand, from day one, it was a vibration of like love for community, which I wasn't even comprehending. I was just like so like blown away by the way this man spoke. I have a video clip that I posted about him, because from the minute I met him, I was like, can I interview you real quick? Can I like get you to talk about you on my little, Insta? This is why I'm still on Dr. Oz now, still on like Fix 11 Tip, still like, on ABC, NBC, still with like Shark Tank, like in all these different spaces, freedom and no justice, no peace. But on my little Instagram and Facebook, I wasn't like popping like that. I'm still not, because I'm not into the, that social media thing like that. I'm still working on it because, again, it's the energy thing for me. I don't like a lot of space, people in my space, in my face, or whatever. So that's why it's a slow connection into the Instagram world, Facebook world, or what have you. But I say that to say, I put him on my Instagram from day one because of the energy. Because the man just spoke in such a degree. I'm like, you're the street baller I've been watching all these years, but you talk so different. You move so different. You're not like the other cats out here that are super big-headed, that are running out here like all the blink, whatever, trying to holler, oh, honey, you got a fatty, this, that, and a third. Nah, the way he came off from day one was mad respectful and mad humble and mad cool. But I didn't know the other side about God until tonight. I didn't know the other side about how much he was doing. Within the couple of days I planned to interview him is when I started really looking deeper into Mr. Adrian Walton, into Mr. A Butter, into Mr. Butter 03, whatever, on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to understand that the same young man that was playing ball all them years ago has changed in such a way that he is now not only bringing up the community as he always has been, but he's doing something even more profound through financial literacy, through this work with Africa, through giving back on a daily basis when he just walks the street in the humble way that he does, without a big head, without people like just, him disrespecting people because he is Mr. A Butter. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why I had to do what I had to do tonight, to prove a point. Whenever you make it in life, remember to be nice to people. Nice people are nice to people. So when I speak about energies and how I grew up, my mother knows this. And to this day, if she could spank me, she would, because I got hella spankings, y'all. I was one of those kids. And that's why I am the way I am today. I'm very respectful, but don't play with me. My mother be like, you have to talk to this person. No, I don't. I don't like them. I don't. I'm sorry. That's child abuse if you make me talk to somebody that I don't like. And hence why I graduated high school at 16 years old. And here's the truth, fam. I graduated high school at 16 and went straight to university, 3.5 hours away from my parents, had my own car, had my own dorm room, had everything, went off and moved on my own and everything. You know why? And here's another piece of the pie, because I did not want to be subjected to dealing with people I didn't want to deal with. Hence all the children that were being created in my family that I had to take care of as the oldest. That's a whole nother story. But you guys get the drift. I don't deal with everybody's energy. But when I meet somebody that has the energy that resonates with me, that talks the talk that I talk, that walks the walk that I walk, who wants to give back to community, like you heard the brother said, support this platform, because you're not going to see everybody out here doing what I do. You're not going to see everybody doing this and interviewing people in the community that's doing this work. You know why? Because corporate America, AKA America with all the K's, they don't want to see this. What you mean? You want to interview the brother who used to play for the street ball teams and the RUCKER, and now he's doing God's work and he's giving back to educate the people? Like, who's going to sign up for that? Who's going to give you money, corporate money, AniYa? Who's going to really invest into a platform that's not really making the millions through the advertisements? Because advertisements, and the monies that are coming through these corporations, they have a set profile that they want to see. And it's not love for me and you. It's not love from me to Mr. Walton, from Mr. Walton to the coaches in the community, from the coaches to the community, to the politicians that are actually giving back. That's not what they want to see. They want to see slander. They want to see Jennifer Hudson going against Common about Tiffany Haddish. That's what's making them the most money. But when you talk about building community in Africa so that the children can drink clean water, You think corporate America wants to see that? Hell to the no, because they'd rather go in there with their own machines, doing their own thing to sabotage the people. And you know what? Let me shut up, because this is my cue. Because if I go deeper, then I may get in trouble. And I don't want this platform, this show tonight, to magically disappear as we know it can. So stay tuned for much more of the AniYa A show, because as I stated, guys, even though I'm super busy, even though I have a new baby he is something. He is something, and he don't play no games about his mother. I still love this so much that I will drop everything to get the interviews in, to make sure I do the shout outs that I want, to make sure that my platform runs the way I want it to run. That's why I'm not on these local platforms. You know how many times I was approached and talked to about AniYa, why don't you go on X, Y, and Z? No, because those corporations don't even want us to talk about the things that we really want to talk about. And furthermore, they have all of these little innuendos because they're doing what they're doing behind the scenes. I'd rather do this, produce it the way I want to, ask the questions the way I want to, do my shout outs and talk about what I want to, because I know it's gonna be the most effective while I'm here talking to you guys. Not only am I getting the views, right? But I'm getting the calls, I'm getting the messages. Why? Because the people are tuning in and lives are being touched and changed. With that being said, again, shouts out to everybody celebrating a birthday today. And if you're not celebrating a birthday today, this week, shouts out to you. I would do a whole birthday song and all of that, but I'm still on such an emotional high that I'm gonna shut it down now and say, may you continue to have peace, love, blessings, all the great things that you want in this life. And again, even though I haven't met the council members' mom or sister, I believe they both have a birthday this month. Now, I wonder how that's like, you know, living with two Leos. I feel like these two women were Leos, and Mr. Council member is a Scorpio. I feel like I do my research. I be peeping game. This is a very interesting thing. And when I grew up with all the different characters in my family, listen, Haitian people, whoo child, island people. Either way, guys, I wanted to shut it down and say thank you again for supporting the AniYa A show, and we'll be back with more special guests. And you know what? In closing, let me just say this. When he talked about Diddy tonight, I was legitimately, I have somebody that I want to bring on my show who wants to be on the show as well. But I'd have to have security. I'd have to have, you guys don't understand. I live in New York City. Diddy lives on the street somewhere. Like, I cannot bring certain people on my platform. We know the truth, and the truth will set us free. That part. Good night, guys. We gotta go. Bye. I don't want to get in trouble. Bye. Good night. Love you guys. Hey, Kyle and Kelly. Okay, I see you, sis. What's up, sis? How you doing? Good night, guys.